Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. This is Hondo Carpenter. I am your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. Joined as I am each and every week by my dear friend, the great Jonathan Shop. He's a decorated journalist and a highly successful attorney in the Atlanta Buckhead area. And he joins us again. I cover the NFL as a senior writer, but the Raiders specifically, and he joins us to kind of bring a macro view of the league. I take a micro, and we're always great to have John with us. John, let's talk about the Raiders. We always start there. To me, I think Monday night. Now, let me lay the groundwork for you. They're 2-7. They fire the special teams coordinator. They had to do something. The offense, you have a $6 million a year highest paid offensive coordinator. You go trade for the quarterback, pay him $60 million large. You get the number 6 overall running back because you want to be a running team. The best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. Nobody thought he was Saquon, but the best sense. Your offense is worse than what it was last year after firing everybody for a bad offense. The defense has been good. To me, from the offensive coordinator to the head coach to the general manager to Tom Brady, everybody is on alert for Monday night because they have to demonstrate you can't keep letting the offense be bad and do nothing when the defense is good and you're getting rid of people on special teams. We're not advocating for anyone to get fired, but to me, forget the players. Monday night is about those gentlemen I mentioned and their demonstration to this fan base they can get something repaired. Where am I wrong?
People are looking not just for continuity, they're looking for productivity. It's the NFL, right? So as people look at the Raiders, in some years past, you had guys like Aikman and others say, "Hey, this team is not that far away. They're not that bad. They're not as bad as they've looked and performed at sometimes." This year, it's like, "Hey, this is what you've done. This is how bad you are. And can we get back to basics? Can you block anybody? Can the whole line operate as one? Can people run the routes as they're supposed to? Can your quarterback execute as he is supposed to?" And like you said, this kind of is another, it's not a final exam necessarily, although it may be for somebody, maybe for some people. There's a lot of eyeballs. You're playing the Cowboys on Monday night, national audience. What can you show the Raiders fans? Which obviously, as we know, it extends across the seas. It's not just in California. It's not just in Nevada. It's not just in Texas or Mexico. It's not just in Great Britain. It's all over the place. What are you doing to show us you're getting somewhere? Are we seeing different players, different combinations? Are we seeing any energy? One of the things that stood out to me continually about the Raider defense is the relentless pursuit of Max Crosby and pulling guys along. You can't slough off with Max Crosby on the field. He's your guy. He's your motor. He's playing every play like, not like it's his last, but he's playing every play like it's just as important as any play he's ever going to play. And that chemistry builds. That builds chemistry. That pulls guys along. That relentless effort is there. Where is it on the offensive side of the ball? It's not really been there. And no, it's not okay to say, well, we lost Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams quit, all that stuff's gone. You laid it out there. The checkbook came out. The guys that you mentioned, they are on the line and in the focus on Monday night. The storyline is already there. ESPN will be following it. What is the Raiders offense? Where is it broken down? Where is it getting fixed and repaired? It's time that those folks show they got a game plan and some kind of clue what they're doing. If not, you would be a fool to think there's not going to be significant changes before they line up to start next season.
So let me go a step farther here because I think there's something here that people are ignoring. So even before the season, Dallas fans travel amazingly well. And I've got now, I think, 16 or 17 friends and family coming into Vegas for this game. Uh, it's unbelievable. This is going to be Jerry World West. And so I think you're also making a statement on national TV. Your stadium just got overrun. And if you lay an egg on top of your stadium being full of your opponent, this is a terrible look in the National Football League. This, listen, you're already going to lose the stadium battle because it's going to be a Dallas crowd, and it's going to be a heavily Dallas crowd. You you cannot take a risk of another game of your offense not showing up and not think something's got to happen. They're on life support, but even they have to acknowledge the enormity of the situation. Where am I wrong?
Well, the picture you paint there is, you know, we think about the Rams stadium. It's like anybody but the Rams house. I mean, there's Rams fans there. There's always a bunch of other ones. That's because the NFL was not in Southern California for a long time, right? Then you see the Chargers and they're like, oh, now what you're talking about here is Allegiant's going to be like this. It's already going to be feeling like it's 50-50 or less. If the Raiders lay an egg, their fans are going to leave, and the fourth quarter and the end of the game is going to be Dallas West. It's going to be all Cowboy fans. What else would the fans do at that point? So
So,
there really
John,
is a lot here.
I don't know, but I bet it's a 70% Dallas crowd, and I'm being conservative.
Well, for I mean, listen, obviously there's almost 50, almost 60 million people probably within a reasonable drive or flight of Las Vegas, on the West Coast. The Cowboys are one of the biggest brands. They're going to have tons of fans, right? So you've already set it up there. What the Raiders need to do is pretty much as simple as it's not just win, just show progress. Just show some progress. As I talk to Raider fans, because there's plenty of them around where I live, and they love the Raiders and they go way back. They get real excited when they see what's coming. They get real excited about the lineup. They get real excited about Chip Kelly. They get real excited about Geno. And they see this and they see it like devolving and they're like, why? Why can't we block anybody? Why can't we execute? Why can't we maybe do some things that give us a chance to convert a third down? Why are we short of the sticks there? Why are we doing that there? Why is this so disorganized? Because from the day this guy was hired, the day that guy was hired, the day that guy was signed, weren't they working to do this? And on the other side of the ball, we see competence, we see continuity, we see leadership. It really is something. When I look at the Raiders from the offensive side of the ball and their failures, I don't want to sound old fashioned, but they're not blocking people well enough for all the rest of the stuff to happen. That's where I think their main focus needs to be. If they get that secure, you're talking about a playmaker or two away from all of a sudden the thing jumping, assuming you have some confident and productive quarterback play. They got a lot of problems. One of the best things a really good coach can do is sort through a lot of problems and put something on the field that can get you some progress.
Look
Joe
at
Gibbs.
Sean Payton. Look at Sean Payton. Listen, Denver is not a juggernaut.
No. I mean, name 5 guys on the Broncos, period, let alone their offense. And then Peyton goes there and starts with a gigantic anchor that's Russell Wilson. And for
He's
the
still
Wilson,
dealing with it on his salary cap.
can't get it off the books. Many people were flabbergasted that he took that job because it's like, how are you going to overcome that? How are you going to Howie Roseman that thing and go find you how are you going to overcome this? Incredible work. The coordination and the talent have not fit yet. You can't blame it all on the quarterback. You can't blame it all on any one thing. You can blame it pretty much everywhere, right? But if there is some sign of progress over the course of 60 minutes, not one good drive like we've seen a couple times this year, not a very clear indication to me that Ashton Genty can be that guy. There's a way that he moves through the play. There's a pace that he has. There's little slight spin moves. There's elusiveness. You can see a big future there. but you got to find somebody to block for them, and you got to have the whole thing go in the same direction. That may be really what people want to see. They want to see the Raiders compete, and on the offensive side of the ball, they want to see them do smart things. And like, okay, here's what we're doing, and we've got a little progress there. They realize that you don't have big guns everywhere that you could just start lighting it up. No. I think about the last time I was, or one of the last times I was out there, the 2 games in 4 days, the enormous 3-0 loss to Minnesota, and then 4 days later, the most points in modern Raider history, right? Which one is going to show up Monday night? That crowd is going to be watching, and you have set the stage. You do not want this thing to look like it is a Dallas Cowboys practice at the end with just Dallas Cowboys fans in the stands.
John, why are we still flipping the coin for overtime?
I ask you this, and this is why I say this. In the offseason, we'll talk more about overtime because we really need people to focus in the NFL to focus that overtime is there to decide the game. But call me crazy. For years, I don't understand this. We flip the coin at the start of the game. Somebody wins the toss. Seems to me, if we go to overtime, you let the other team make the election to start overtime. Why are we flipping the coin again? We saw the failures of overtime that the Falcons suffered. The overtime is not what it is now. The overtime wasn't set up well. That contributed largely to the Falcons' come from ahead loss, somehow getting caught by the Patriots and losing in overtime in the Super Bowl. So, okay, they fixed that. Why are we flipping the coin? Last week we saw the coin flip screwed up. I don't think there's any reason to flip the coin in overtime. The purpose is to resolve the game. Go ahead and give the team that lost the coin flip the chance to elect in overtime. See how that might affect the end of the football game. If you know the other team is going to get the election and they're going to get the ball, maybe you do things different towards the end of regulation.
John, off-field story of the week, the Antonio Brown story, former Raider. I mean, this is just, it's just getting worse. It continues to get worse. What's going on? What's the latest?
The latest is Antonio Brown is in very serious criminal trouble. And that's saying something given his criminal history, isn't it? Not trying to make funny. Antonio Brown has been charged with attempted murder. I remember earlier this year seeing a weird, oddball tweet about him about some incident he got into down in Miami after a fight. So that's interesting. Well, it's a little more than interesting. Antonio Brown fight with people in Florida after a boxing event. He ends up firing shots. He is now going to be charged and has been charged with attempted murder. Florida has some wild laws, including gun laws. They got some wild stuff down there. I don't know how this is going to go. But the bottom line is this is not good. This is not good. And I think that I'm not standing on a box here trying to make some big profession. Raider fans know, people in Antonio Brown's college days know, there's some significant mental health issues here. And this is not going to end well at all. I don't know how many more warning signs we need that Antonio Brown is in serious danger of doing damage to people. He's already had issues. This is a huge issue. This is attempted murder. This is not a joke. This is not a traffic ticket. This is not Scotty Scheffler getting arrested wrongfully before a golf tournament and then showing up in Happy Gilmore to make jokes about it. This is not a joke at all. It's a bad story. I'm not sure what else the NFL could do to help a guy like Antonio Brown, but I guarantee you that people that are looking at that and aware of that, they know this story. They're going to watch this story. A former All-Pro charged with attempted murder down in the state of Florida.
Unbelievable. John, I want to turn our attention to Belichick. You know, for some reason, I don't even know how his name is coming up for pro jobs. But now, I mean, isn't this the guy who always said eliminate the noise and all we're seeing coming from around him is noise? What's going on?
I'll tell you how it hits home. Hondo read the book, as folks know. I started to read the book. I heard the foreword and I said, maybe this guy should play this for himself. I stopped reading the book. One thing he's done this year is throwing his book out the window. I stopped reading the book. This guy's not, that's a different guy. I don't know what's going on with Bill Belichick. I believe there is something going on with Bill Belichick beyond the sport. I believe that there may be some kind of a health issue that's going on there. But let's cut through what this is. Who is creating these rumors and ideas that Bill Belichick may be going to the Giants? I think it's one of two operations. One, the most likely, is Bill Belichick. Why? Because he wants the hell out of college football, a job he should have never taken, where he didn't belong. He's not having any fun. He's not having any success at all. His people, suspect number one. Suspect number two is a little bit of a curveball. There may be somebody in the Giants organization that knows exactly who they want to lead their franchise from here. And they don't want anybody else to get a sniff of who they want to lead their organization. So they are floating this Belichick name out to take the air in the balloon from the middle of November all the way through sometime in December, right? Maybe all the way through the end of the NFL season, when a coach may be out of season and potentially able to begin some kind of discussion. I'm curious what you think. I think there's the only two places this could come from. I think it is
Disagree.
a joke. Okay. I want to hear who you think it else could be. It is a joke, but let me just tell you.
What about people, John, around North Carolina who are trying? What if people around the North Carolina program are like, listen, let's get these rumors out there in case there's any fans left that want this guy, to get them to say, then get out.
That could be interesting. The only thing is, if somebody from North Carolina were to float that, would that really have enough clout to get reported as it has been? See, that I wouldn't have thought that would have.
Okay,
had
John, let me
go.
just tell you this. And you've been a media guy a long time. I've had coaches call me and say, hey, can you mention my name for this job? I'm like, wow, I'm shocked you're interested. Well, I'm not, but I want to raise where I'm at. No, I'm not doing that. I've also had a friend who works for another school say, hey, you should mention my coach is a candidate for that job. They reached out and asked me if they could interview.
Yeah.
And so I called the school and said, did you call and ask to interview this guy? No, he's not even on our radar. And I said, okay, so if you understand, if you interview him, I'm going to report that I called you. He goes, I don't care. I swear to God to you, Hondo. So I just know how this works. It can come from a lot of different angles. Either way, I don't think he's ever coaching the NFL again.
Well, listen. This is a top 5 pro football coach of all time. I do not think that he's at the top, even if he were in the NFL today. I think Reed has passed him. He is 33-43 since 2020, including the games at University of North Carolina. He's 10 games under 500 since 2020. You really think the Giants, with all the choices they have, with the brand that they have, are going to want to go get a retread who was falling backward towards the end of his career, disorganized, bad draft, bad attitude? What are you talking about? What year is this? Is this 2004? Is this 2012? Maybe a time that maybe something like this might have played out? No. I am curious where this is coming from. This is a fascinating story. We have talked about this for months, as people know. They know for the folks that have listened, I appreciate that you have, and you know where I'm going here. This was a guy who got a long-standing invitation at the restaurant. They didn't seat him. He got frustrated. He went down the road to Arby's. Arby's in this case is North Carolina. He didn't want to go there. He didn't belong there. This is a train wreck. This is a train wreck. Took his book and pretty much tore it up. I don't buy this at all. I think it's coming from Belichick. I think it's garbage. I don't think we ever see Bill Belichick coaching the NFL again, as you said. I don't think he can do it anymore.
And I want to add one thing. If I was guessing, and I'm totally guessing, I would think it would come from Belichick's people also. I just know that I don't think you can negate North Carolina. Let's talk about yips and baggage. Is anybody going to be buying in the Justin Tuck presumed comeback?
Justin Tucker was a machine, magic kicking the ball for the Ravens. Justin
Justin Tucker
Tucker,
was awesome.
awesome, right? Kicked at the highest level, perhaps for the longest in the history of the NFL. Then he started yipping. You saw one or two, like, wait a second. Justin Tucker developed the yips, but now here comes a remarkable curveball in that he had a massive scandal brewing off the field that is unresolved, but his time with the NFL suspension is currently done. So now you have a Hall of Fame level kicker who had the yips, but maybe there was a reason that he had the yips, and he's got enormous baggage. So how does this play out from here? Can a team work him out in dead private, off campus, way out, maybe in another state? Absolutely. Work him out somewhere totally remote, nobody even knows. Maybe. Are they going to work him out and find out that he doesn't have the yips anymore? It doesn't look like he had the yips. Are they willing to take the risk of bringing Justin Tucker in to kick? There are teams with serious kicking issues. There's maybe a coach and a GM in Atlanta that are going to end up fired and point to kicking as part of the reason they got fired. So there's desperation out there for kicking. This is now on the map again. Will Justin Tucker return to the NFL? Does he have the yips? And how are they going to manage that baggage? 10-game suspension after a sexual misconduct scandal. This is a story to watch. Hondo, I got a feeling that this one may move. Who knows? This one may move really quick. I mean, people need kickers. I'm not sure that somebody's not just going to say, listen, find out if that guy can kick, and if he can, we need to sign him.
Now, what's going on in the NFC East? Dable's gone with Dart. Now Jaden Daniels is injured. And you may remember when Jaden Daniels was coming out in the draft, Drew Stanton and I talked about there were great concerns, not with his talent. He's a high character kid. Everybody loved the kid and everybody thought he was talented. But that the way he played was not sustainable in the NFL. And after a great rookie year, I just said to everyone, relax, judge him, see if he stays healthy. People did not think he was going to be able to change the way he played. You're seeing massive injuries. What's going on in the NFC East?
What's going on in the NFC East is coaching that's not keeping up with the times, right? So Jaden Daniels, for folks that don't know, we covered him at Arizona State, saw him as a freshman. He was about as skinny as angel hair pasta. He was really thin. Unbelievable rookie year last year, but signs that got to make sure this guy doesn't take hits. This year, running way too much, not sliding enough, and ridiculously left in a game that was over by Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn gets a little bit of credit for saying, hey, that was on me. Dan Quinn, come on, man. Dan Quinn is a really good coach. This is the second time around as the NFL head coach. This is when they do good. You got to know better. I don't care that it's not his throwing arm. It's an injury that's going to affect him the rest of his career. So you got really less than good coaching there. Really, really bad. Buries the Commanders. Jackson Dart is who some of us thought he would be. He's the best rookie quarterback in the NFL right now. I know the Raider fans don't need to hear about it. They got something cooking in New York. They're getting him hit too much. Into the 10 he goes. Concussion City. Dable gets fired because of it. My point is, why are you getting these guys the opportunity to get hit so much? Yank them off the field if they're running too much and not sliding. You have got to get through to your quarterback as a head coach the importance of sacrificing a couple dozen yards a year for avoiding the hits. When you need the yards in a playoff game, different story. Different story. These two guys should not have gotten hurt like they did. Their coaches are partially at fault. The players you can say at fault, but you got to put more of it on the coaches. NFC East, what are you doing to your young quarterbacks? Bad look for both. Dan Quinn can certainly recover. He's a really good coach, but this is not a mistake he should have made. Brian Dable may not get another head coaching job in the NFL. Horrible look for both. These are two really good looking quarterbacks. Really, really good looking. I don't think we're going to
shout out to Drew Stanton, who called both of those on this show. All right. Yeah. Rugby technique is overtaking the NFL. What's going on, Johnny Guitars?
Let's flash back for those folks who don't know. Way back when Pete Carroll was doing his thing in Seattle, he's bringing in rugby style of tackling to the Seahawks. They did pretty well. They did pretty well on the defensive side of the ball. Now we've seen a lot more of this. Hey, wait a second. Where did this tush push come from? It was a great article in Sports Illustrated talking about Richie Gray, the collision king, as he's known, a guy from that side of the planet in that rugby business, teaching guys very specific details about leverage, angles, how to use the body, lining up the shoulder, bringing more and more rugby into the NFL. And people are getting an advantage to it. Now, I already hear the Raider fans saying, where's that guy on my team? Where's that guy coaching and consulting? When do we get him in here for the Raiders to teach our linemen how to get some kind of advantage? I like how you're thinking, and you're thinking in the right direction. You're also realizing other teams in the NFL are doing this. Other teams are doing this. The Eagles, there's a whole bunch of other people with serious rugby influence. It's very interesting to see. It's natural. And for those of us that have caught a little bit of rugby or Australian rules football during the year, as we're out there flipping the channels, you see it and you're like, this looks a lot like football, but there's also some different movements and techniques. You're not seeing guys trying to fly around and take other people's heads off and maybe losing leverage and losing positioning. You're seeing them really in a position that would be most conducive to winning at the point of attack. And if I'm a Raider fan, I want this guy around my franchise in my building in the off season. I want people who are the best in the world in their consulting, in their talking with our coaches, exploring ideas, exploring options, maybe thinking about another way to do something, because the other guys around the NFL are doing it. It's a really cool article about Richie Gray, about what he sees between rugby and the NFL. And there's some detail in there, I think, that explores why some teams are better at the point of attack on a consistent basis than others. And it's not all about the Eagles, but look, Jeff Stoutland is a Hall of Fame level offensive line coach, for example. He's not doing the same thing as everybody else is doing. Rugby is an influence and a factor in the NFL. Great article about the point of attack and the rugby influence, and some really specific stuff that's pretty interesting if you really want to get an idea of what separates really effective pushing people around from stuff that doesn't work.
I agree. All right. Now, for those of you that are new, and we are adding massive audience every week, John and I, each and every week, John picks the four most intriguing games. We pick them. We keep track of the games that we disagree on for the season. And it has been, this is week 11. Actually, I think, yeah, this is week 11. I'm up 7 get wins to John's 1. We've tied twice. So, John, what do you got for our 4 big games this week?
I need help. I'm going to pull this thing to help me. We got too many good ones this week. Let's start. We're going to go through them very quickly. We talked about the Panthers. You're saying the Panthers? Yeah, the Panthers matter. Not only they matter, this is their chance. Panthers at Falcons in division. This is a chance for the Panthers to move further towards a potential playoff spot. Back against the wall for the Falcons brass. Let's put it that way. Back against the wall. If they lose this one, kicker or not, if they lose this one, I think they're in deep trouble. Fast.
I'm going to, boy, I really think the Panthers here, but I think this is a home game for the Falcons.
It is.
Johnny, I'm going to go Panthers.
Somebody ought to look at hiring Dave Canales. This is a good NFL coach. Doesn't belong in Carolina. Carolina is confident. Carolina did the Panthers, blanked them earlier this year. The script flips. I'm going against my instinct. Give me the Falcons at home. Now, the Buccaneers top the same division that those two teams are in. They got to go to the Bills. I think everybody knows what happened in Buffalo last week. I don't think we know the depths of the problems I believe this is a combination of years of attrition and wear. I believe the Bills' window has closed. What if they fall short this week with the Buccaneers?
Bills win it.
Bills win it. Give me the Baker. Surprise. Last second. Buccaneers. Shocker. The Bears matter? Sure. Sure, they matter. They're mattering now. The Vikings. Any chance here? The reason this one made the list is it's kind of a back against the wall situation for the Vikings. They're at home. If they lose this one, I think it's adios. The Bears have anything going.
I like the Vikings because it's home.
I have not believed in the Bears, but I believe in Montez Sweat. I believe in some of the stuff they've got going on there.
I love Montez, as you know.
Yeah, and he's from like 10 miles away from where I am. I got to go with the Bears. I got to go with the Bears. I'm going to take the bait. I'm going to take the bait. Watch out for Brian Flores. Let's see what curves he has. Let's watch the turnover total for Caleb Williams. The Bengals and the Steelers. The only reason we're talking about this one is the Steelers looked, ooh, they didn't look so good. The Bengals, I guess this is the theme. This back against the wall weekend. There is no opportunity for the Bengals to do anything, play any games of significance during the winter portion of the season without a win here. Bengals, Steelers.
Steelmen, I'm voting Aaron Rodgers here. And they found their defense, hopefully, gets back.
I'm going Steelers also. I think the Bengals, I don't think the Bengals franchise, I think the Bengals franchise is continuing in the same direction as they've been headed here for a little while. Hot business in the NFC West. Hot business, best division in the sport this year. Seahawks on fire, going to the Rams.
I think the Rams are a surprise Super Bowl contender. I like them. I'm riding Rams here. I'm a big Les Snead, Sean McVay guy. I am all over the Rams here.
The Rams know who Jackson Smith-Njigba is. Y'all know who Jackson Smith-Njigba is. He did not win the Rookie of the Year that I predicted, but he has progressed reasonably. Ken Walker is a star. Athletic ability.
Cody White. Cody White's been playing his tail off.
First touchdown in the NFL, playing his tail off from a nobody practice squad Steeler guy. The momentum with the Seahawks is serious. This is a bigger game for the, you know what? I'm going to take the Seahawks. Bigger game for the Seahawks. This would send a boom shot in the NFC West. It's the best division in the sport. It was a couple years ago. It's the best division in the sport this year, I believe. Seahawks with a shocker. Chiefs, Broncos, no brainer at all that this is a monster. Yes, I too like Kansas City.
It's not even close. I don't think the Broncos are a good team. They just have a really great coach who knows how to mask their weaknesses. This Kansas City, and I think it's going to be a blow up.
When you look at what the upside was for the Broncos roster, you're seeing them outperform. They are outstanding. That is the coaching difference. It's like we're going to look back on this and say they had a handful more wins than they should have had. It is mastery. We know the Chiefs are coming. Josh Simmons, we got our eyes on this whole thing. Very key for the Chiefs' run from here. The last one is beyond a no-brainer. It is the influx Detroit Lions. Let's reset the deck. Start of the year, I said, hey, I think the Lions are going to struggle for about 5 weeks. They struggled for about one. They got cooking. They were rolling, right? Especially in the offensive side of the ball. But now, massive change, right? Dan Campbell is now taking over the play calling. Red flag? I don't know. The standards are high. I think he does it because that's what his players wanted. And he talks to the coach and say, look, right or wrong, this is what these guys want. This is going to put them in the best position to win. That's all fine and dandy. Jalen Carter is a factor. Disruption from the center. Give me the Eagles.
I'm with you. I think the Eagles win it. And I listen, I think the Lions are a Super Bowl contender. I think the Eagles are. I would have gone with whichever team was at home, so I'm going with the Eagles.
Are you concerned at all about what's going on in Detroit and basically the play calling change, or you just see it as a small issue?
No, because I know people there and I know what happened. So no, I'm not concerned at all.
It's impressive to have the stones and the guts to do that at this point. It would be remarkably impressive for Detroit if they go and beat the Eagles. This is back up against the wall weekend. There's that many good games for
If
folks to
they
pick.
go and win this game, then I think you're looking at a Lions Chiefs Super Bowl.
That would make total sense. This is a phenomenal weekend. Way before Monday night. We're going to love it from the start of the early morning.
All right, everybody, go to SI.com/NFL/Raiders/on SI. John, tell them how to find you.
At JP Spartan.